Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got 'em for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It's MRN's Winged Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. We are glad you joined us. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. Erin Evernham and Steve Post here, and we are so excited about today's show. Dominic Scelzi is going to join us, and Danny Lasoski. A lot of D's there.
Yeah.
Dominic and Danny, okay?
Tongue twister.
So Danny Lasoski and Dominic Scelzi are going to join us after Big Wings this past weekend and so much more. Erin Evernham alongside. And Erin, I actually saw some pictures. You got to hang out this past weekend with some sprint car folks as well.
I did. Unfortunately, like we talked about earlier before the show, I wasn't able to make it to the racetrack, but that was all for a good reason. I was having a fancy dinner with one of Ray's associates.
Yes,
so
sure.
No complaints about that. However, I did get to have a 5-course meal at the Abreu Vineyards in the infield of their little dirt track.
Right.
And drink some amazing wine.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, and
Oh, you're
bad
lucky.
company. It was only, Ricky and Danica and Kyle Larson, Rico.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman. It's tough
Talking
company.
sprint car racing, though.
Oh, of course. That was the topic of conversation the entire time. And it's funny, like, the ladies kind of go off to one side and chit-chat, and the guys, and I caught myself over with the guys the
Yeah.
whole time. Like, wait a second, I need to be one of the ladies and, go talk about some shoes for a little bit.
Talk about some shoes and then
And then
back to
sneak
racing.
back.
Yes, exactly. That
Yeah.
is so cool. Yeah, I saw the lineup, and I think that's the fun part about it is we're so fortunate here at MRN that we get to do the NASCAR stuff because the NASCAR world is just a great place to be. But it's so funny in the garage area when you get to a Ricky or a Kyle or a Casey Kane or
Yeah.
Tony Stewart. It's like, come here, what's going on? What did you hear about this? What
Yeah,
did you hear about that?
yes.
And that's the same thing no matter where you go. And it's just really, really cool. I love seeing the pictures. Love that you got a chance to do that.
Yes.
Great weekend in sprint car racing, and really that gets us to the classic ink, screen printing, and embroidery hot topics. And when we try to put this show together, some weeks it's pretty cut and dry. Other weeks it's like, okay, well, we've kind of had this story that we've worked on. And then there are other weeks where like, ay, how could we put all of this into a 3-hour show? That's one of the weeks. So let's talk about them. We're going to put them all in our classic ink, screen printing, and embroidery hot topics. Let's go to the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. The evening on Saturday started with all of this rumble about the Dietrich boys racing at Lincoln.
Yes.
And it sounds like they had a thriller there at
Yeah.
Lincoln. Crowd was going wild. The Dietrichs were going wild. Everyone was going wild. It is just typical Lincoln Speedway. They call it the fabulous Lincoln Speedway, and that place is right, and they get it going. So it's like, okay, a little bit later up the road, well, I wonder what's going on up at Port Royal. And you get word of a 10-car wreck on lap 1. 10-car wreck. All the drivers involved. This one's involved. That one's involved. Lucas Wolf is involved. Yada, yada, yada. Okay? Lucas has gone to the work area. Okay? Lucas is going to start last. This is me following along on social media. Lucas Wolf wins the race. From a flip to the work area to last
To the win.
to the win.
That's awesome.
That is wheeling at the Speed Palace. So you're sitting there and you're going, oh my God, this is like Pennsylvania's crazy.
Yeah.
And guess where we're going? We're going to Pennsylvania Speed Weeks now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Pennsylvania Speedway. I'll be honest with you, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on Thursday. Fred Raymer's going to join us, but we'll talk a little bit more about this on Thursday. I was a little worried about Pennsylvania Speedway.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried it might be an explosion because it just looks like it is
yeah.
really shaping up well. Out on the West Coast, Sam Haferteep Jr.
Again.
I know. The Skagit, the Jim Raper Memorial Dirt Cup, $15,000. He went out there and he struggled. His quote was, I looked like a rookie on the first night,
Yeah.
but my team put it together and we rallied back and scored the big win. So how about that? Great racers overcome nights when they look like rookies.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, like you said, it was wild to hear that because he's had such success there. And I was like, he'll probably figure it out. And sure enough.
Sure enough, he did. You know, but you go out there and Aaron Reitzel has got on his high horse
Yeah.
too. So you're like, this ASCS stuff is looking really, really
Absolutely.
good. Up at Jackson, where we were at a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. How about Paige Poliak
Yeah.
grabbing the win? Isn't
With
that
my
awesome?
former car owner.
That's right, Mike
Yeah.
Woodring.
That was awesome to see her get the win. I know that they've had some financial struggles, like most teams have, but to see her, overcome that and get in victory lane
So
in a 410 is special.
Exactly.
She
it
beat
really
some
is.
big names too.
She did, no doubt. Well, you're running Jackson.
Yeah,
you're running
exactly.
big names as well. And finally, we had the Articat All-Star Circuit of Champions Speed Week, okay? And the Speed Week was really weird
It
this year
was.
because we had some Cup guys, we had all of this going on, but one constant in the Speed Week was when that 49 car rolled on the
Yeah.
racetrack. Tim Schaefer, he is bad fast.
He is. He's always had it, but I know he's jumped around different teams and different things in the last few years.
Yeah.
But he's like back where I remember seeing him years ago, like on fire.
When I first came into the sport 6 or 7 years ago, it was right after he'd won the Knoxville Nationals. And I'd go watch Tim Schaefer race, and I'm like, okay, so he's good, but he's
Yeah.
not great. Now, I've seen him a couple times this year in that 49 car.
great.
This is Tim Schaefer.
Yep.
Tim Schaefer is back, and I don't care where you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about Pennsylvania, you're talking about Ohio, or you're talking Iowa.
Yep.
When that 49 car rolls into the pit area, you're going to need to keep an eye on it. Schaefer is just fast. And he
Absolutely.
won the Ohio Speed Week Championship. So there you have it. Those are our Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. Find out more information at www.classicinkusa.com. 2 more hot topics, but we're going to talk to both of these guys later in the program. Dominic Scelzi going to join us. But when we come back, the dude, Danny Lasoski, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Rico Aber, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
The crown jewel of the Northwest, 15,000 to win, 1,000 to start. It's the 46th annual Jim Raper Memorial Dirt Cup presented by the Skagit Casino and Resort, June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th at Skagit Speedway. The Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour takes on the best of the Northwest as Haferty, Herrera, and Bergman lead the charge, along with Northwest Focus Midgets and the Washington Modified Touring Series. Tickets on sale now at SkagitSpeedway.com or by calling 360-724-3567.
Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Plus, get double O Rewards points on this offer. Clean clogged injectors with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
On Friday, June 30th, the Professional Fighters League makes its debut at the Daytona International Speedway. Admission to the fight is included with your ticket to the Xfinity Series race on Friday night, the Coca-Cola Firecracker 250. The battle in the cage will immediately follow the action on the track. MMA legend John Fitch takes on Brian Foster in the main event of the night. Championship Racing and Championship MMA back-to-back. Kick off your 4th of July weekend at the Daytona International Speedway with the Professional Fighters League.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon, and now back to Winged Nation.
Welcome back. Thanks, Jeff. We're having a great time. We are glad you joined us here on MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. And let's go to the guest line. We talk about all the hot topics, but none bigger or better this past weekend than the dude. Rolled into Knoxville, picked up win number 112. Danny Lasoski joins us. Hey, Danny, welcome back to Winged Nation.
Hey, guys, thank you very much for having us on.
All right, dude, let me see. Let me get this right now. So you go out there, they make you come out to the track early on Saturday to be inducted into the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame, and then you put an exclamation point on the day by winning the race. That sounds like a pretty good day to me.
That sounds like to me the stars lined up for us, didn't it? First of all, it's such an honor to be elected in the Knoxville Hall of Fame. I'm the first active driver that has been put in the Hall of Fame, so that's an honor in itself. And my father is in it, as well as my uncle Tom Corbin. So I'm in with good company, and it's such an honor because as a little kid wanting more than anything to race at Knoxville, never dreaming I could win one, and we've been fortunate enough to win 112 of them.
Danny, what were your emotions? I mean, I know you're talking a little bit about it right now, but after being inducted to the Hall of Fame and winning, especially after, we talked earlier this season and you were struggling to put races together, what was it like in Victory Lane on Saturday night?
Aaron, I think you know me. I'm not too much of an emotional guy. I'm pretty much what you see is what you get kind of guy, but that kind of put a lump in my throat when we pulled into Victory Lane, being inducted in the Hall of Fame and then the stars lined up and we won the race, and couldn't be more proud of Mark Birch Motorsports for doing that and helping us accomplish that goal. But when I pulled into victory lane and being able to see my wife and my family and being able to do it and looking up at the grandstand and knowing that, this is something that a young kid dreamed of his whole life, and I'm living reality. So it's an honor.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little goosebumps right now just hearing about it. I mean, that is phenomenal. You were in victory lane. You talked about Mark, and you've had, you've had big time rides along the way. You've cobbled things together, but over the last 4 or 5 years, Mark Birch has been kind of a constant in your world, running some 360 races along the way. Tell us just a little bit about Mark and his passion that he obviously shares with you for the sport of sprint car racing.
And you said exactly right. It's his passion, and we are really representing Team Jack Foundation and putting forth the effort for that. And he's a CPA. He owns his own business. He hasn't time to race this stuff, but he knows right now that in our racing career that this is what I do for a living, and he's taking time from his family, his job, and putting forth. He bought a 410 engine so we could go race, and because usually we've just been running 360s that he built himself. So. This is a new venture for him because he's not much of a 410 guy, and he admits that. But boy, he's learning quickly.
Danny, last time we spoke with you at Jackson, you had just blown up the engine and put in that Mopar you had from years back. I'm assuming it wasn't the Mopar in the car on Saturday night. Did you get everything repaired on the other motor? Was that what you were running?
Yeah, that's it is that actually the motor that I blew up at Jackson was my own, and it is at Kistler's right now getting fixed. And as soon as I got home, that's kind of ironic you said that. As soon as I got home, my dad pulled that Mopar out of my car and put it right back into my Knoxville car that he has restored and going to put in a museum. He said, "That's it. You don't borrow no more."
Yeah, Danny, I'm sitting there watching that at Jackson. I'm not big going back a month or so, but I'm sitting there watching that at Jackson. And at one point during that race, I thought that Mopar engine was carrying you right to the front of the field.
You know what? I really think that we were probably going to run the top 5, but we broke a drive line, and that's just a freak deal. It never happens on us, but it happened. I think we were going to run the top 5, and I'm really proud, having an engine that old perform that well.
No doubt. Good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Danny, in Victory Lane, you were talking about the track, and it took rubber, which sounded kind of strange. Tell us a little bit about the race. Something I read, it took rubber in turns 4 and turn 1 first, and you were worried about conserving tires because there were so many cautions. Tell us a little bit about the race.
Right. Well, the Duncan family do a fantastic job in Knoxville, and it was really windy and really warm that day, and we seen where the week before it was really narrow and kind of slabby, so they did a really good job on the racetrack. And I kept watching and watching, and in the 360 race, it kind of cleaned off. So when you pay attention at Knoxville, the first place that it usually cleans off and takes is entry at turn 1. So when you're the leader, you're not really at liberty to start searching, because as soon as you start searching, somebody's going to leap on you.
Yeah.
So what we did is we got a really good jump, and we got out there, and I seen that it was starting to clear off and clean off. And I think I was probably the first one that caught it in turn 1, and then gradually it got it in turn 3 as well and worked its way down.
No doubt. Fun stuff along the way. Danny, as we start to now project a little bit forward, of course, we've got racing out there. What's kind of your plan? How far out do you have things planned with Mark, your own stuff? Do you have, obviously the Nationals are coming up. What do things look like for you here over the next couple of months?
That's the great thing about Mark Birch and I. We plan just day to day.
Yeah.
Today, we're Joliet, Illinois, going to race the World of Outlaws at Joliet, Illinois, and then our plan is to race at Deer Creek on Thursday. And right there, that's as far as we're looking right now. I don't have anything farther out than that.
Wow. Danny, you talked about the stars aligned on Saturday night, and the track took rubber, and you got in victory lane. A great win for you. But how do you guys feel as a team? I know sometimes a rubber down track isn't a true indication of how you're running as a team or a driver. How are you feeling about the car aside from just this weekend?
Well, we took off. Again, we started on the pole in clean air, and as you all know, that's your best friend.
Yeah.
We took off, and prior to it taking rubber, we were rolling around pretty good. I didn't hear anybody close, and I haven't watched the video, and I don't know if anybody was close, but we were sitting down at pretty good lap times, and just paid attention and actually found the rubber first. So I think we're on the right track. I don't know if we're ready to win a World Outlaw race, but we're going to see tonight if we can put it in victory lane.
Wouldn't that be something? That'd be awesome. That would be cool. We're gonna be.
I agree.
Yeah. How about that? We all three agree. That would be a great stuff. Danny, I'm going to end with this one, and really something you said earlier when you talked about being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You said, when I grew up as a kid, my dad and my uncle are there. I just imagine about dreaming one time to win at Knoxville, let alone 112 wins. If there's a little kid sitting out there, or a little kid or a teenager or someone that's watching Winged Nation, listening to Winged Nation now, what would your advice be to them so that if they have the talent to be the next Danny Lasoski?
I would say to them, please, by all means, if you have a dream big, if you have a dream small, no matter what your dream is, give forth all the effort, because I'm living proof dreams can come true.
Me too. I agree with you. I'm a dreams come true kind of guy. I used to announce Matchbox cars going around a little dirt track that I built in the backyard. So here we are. Dreams do come true. And Danny, I'll tell you what, you gave everyone another night of magic on Knoxville on Saturday night, and I'm sure there's more coming, maybe even tonight at Route 66.
Well, you guys gave me more magic by having us on the show today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Danny. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you real soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Danny, the dude Lasoski. How about that? Man, he's fired up.
He is fired up, and it's like Danny mentioned, he doesn't always show a lot of emotion, but you could feel it today in the interview.
It was great stuff from Danny Lasoski. Let's step away, because when we come back, Dominic Scelzi, he joins us next.
Watch MRN's Winged Nation with Steve Post and Ashley Stremme on MAV TV, Saturdays at 9:30 and 12:30 Eastern.
For over 50 years, drivers in sprint car, midget, micro, modified, and even dirt late model have taken the checkered flag on Weld Racing Wheels. Legendary drivers like Joe Saldana, Carl, Mark, and Steve Kinzer, Doug Wolfgang, and countless other racers have trusted Weld Racing Wheels for their superior strength and lightweight construction to finish ahead of the competition. With 50 years of race-winning engineering and technology, American-made Weld Racing Wheels are designed and built to withstand virtually any abuse you throw at them. Weld Racing. Proven speed.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest feature exhibit is our Salute to Champion Sammy Swindell, June 9th through October 15th, at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Stop in and check out 8 of Sammy's original race cars and see his trophies, uniforms, and more as you learn about his outstanding career. The Salute to Champion Sammy Swindell is only this season at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Hi, I'm Rico Aber, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Thank you, Rico. Welcome back. It is MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Erin Evernham and Steve Post. Let's continue with the hits, because he scored big out in California at Calistoga on Saturday night. Dominic Scelzi joins us. Hey, young man, how are you?
How's it going, guys?
We are doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm telling you what a weekend.
I guess. Dominic, tell us about, actually it's interesting because you're a California kid, but you actually had to fly back to California to do this one. Just tell us about getting there and what all took place on Saturday night.
Well, I think the funniest thing is, I'm sure you guys know Scotty Martin, my crew chief. We were coming back to California for the week to race at Calistoga with Nick McCullough in the 17 car, and we booked our flights. Everything was ready to go, and we showed up at the airport on Wednesday morning and found out that I booked them for Thursday. So we had a whole day off and we didn't do anything, so I messed up on the flights, and that was kind of the beginning of, honestly, the best weekend of my career. It was, just a lot of fun, and, the 17 car is a little team, and we pretty much unloaded with everything we had there, and to take the win home there, at such a big level, it was pretty cool.
Dominic, you mentioned that you flew back from the Midwest running with the World of Outlaws. How much do you think that helped you get in victory lane on Saturday night, just running with the Outlaws and running at that level of competition?
Oh, it's everything. I was watching the show before you guys, called me up, and Danny Lasoski and George Lasoski, I've known them my entire life, and they were the guys that pulled me out of California, my first time about 3 years ago when I ran I-80, and my first time I'd ever seen a big track. And he's telling me all these things on the way to the racetrack, a 4-hour drive of just all these different things on a half mile. And every single night I've spent on a half mile since, whether it's with the Outlaws or a local track, Danny's the guy I talk to, and the guy that's really taught me everything I know about dirty air or half miles or anything like that. So it's cool to see him win. But like you said, when you race with the World of Outlaws, it raises your game. And it's so funny. You watch them unload, and these guys unload, and they're track record speed right out of the gate, and local guys aren't. And when you race with those guys, it raises your game so much that you can go home and you can be 0.3 faster than what you are before that. So it's everything racing with the World of Outlaws. It gets you up to speed and it gets you to your full potential.
Dominic, we've chatted with you over the course of the last few years, and I think one time last year we dialed you up and talked about the clubbing you had taken in the Midwest, getting this experience, and you talk about your game. So where would you assess it? Where is your game now? How is your game overall?
You know, honestly, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. Working with Scotty Martin and Brandon Hickman, they're two friends of mine that I've always wanted to work with, and I've been very fortunate enough to be able to work with them this year. And we struggled the first half of the year, and then once we got working with Scotty and Brandon, immediately we picked up. We went, very well in Tulare, went to Knoxville, ran ninth with the Outlaws, ran strong with the All-Stars, ran second in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. We've really, really been running good and had speed. Every single night we've gotten better, and, it's a testament to how good those guys are, giving me a phenomenal race car. And I really feel on my game. I feel like I'm doing the best job I've done in my life. I think it's showing, and I really hope Saturday night was the beginning of a lot of good things to come.
Dominic, you said that Saturday night's win or this whole weekend was one of the biggest weekends of your whole career. What made this win so special? You've won races before, but what was special about this weekend?
Well, I'm sure, when you won your outlaw race at Tulare, I believe it was, it's something that you're never going to forget, a big win like that. And everyone has their first, and that was my first. I've won 410 races, I've won 360 races, and I've been close to a lot of big wins. And so many people don't see that. They see 18th place, they see 22nd place, but they don't see, with 5 laps to go, you're, checked out at the, Tulare Thunder Bowl at the Trophy Cup Saturday night main event. They don't see all of the races you lose. They only see the what it says on the results. And to finally knock that one off, it's like, hey, it says it right on the result sheet. Number one, we won. And being at Calistoga with so much history, it was just something so special to me that, no one can ever take it away from us. We won it, we did it, and we've got the check and the trophy.
No doubt about it. It is great stuff, that's for sure. All right, so we had your little brother on our MAV TV show a week or so back, or actually this past week. We had him on this past week. They all run together anymore. It's got to be pretty neat watching your little brother. How much do you and him talk as you're in the Midwest and he's out in California? How's that relationship between you and Gio?
He's my best friend. I learned so much from him. I took him to Australia with me, and he was my crew chief down there, and everyone thought it was so funny that I had some, tiny little kid that weighs 120 pounds, working on my stuff that looks like he's 5 years old. And, he's a phenomenal race car driver, but he's an even better crew chief and wrench. And when I struggle with my own stuff or I have a bad night, he can dissect every single thing I'm doing. And, we talk about it every single day. Hey, you know what, try this when you're going down the back straightaway and you're behind a guy and you're doing this, or, hey, when you're entering 3 at Calistoga, you need to watch for that. And he teaches me more than I could probably ever teach him, but when he's down or having a hard time, he comes to me for advice, and when I'm down, I go to him for advice, and it's so neat watching him win because he deserves it. He works so hard. He could build a car with his eyes closed, and, as I told you guys, for the last however many years, he's the real deal. He's a heck of a talent. Amazing stuff. It really is. All of this from a drag racer, from Gary. How about that? Imagine that. Who knew who knew you guys could turn left? That is great stuff. Really is. Dominic, we're so proud of you, so happy for you picking up that win. And I can't wait to see what happens as we agree. Maybe this is the turning of the corner and some great things throughout the summer month. We wish you the best. Thanks for joining us here today. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you around.
There we go. Dominic Scelzi. How about that? Man, pumped up also.
Absolutely. And it's neat to hear about the relationship of brothers. You always
Yes.
wonder how that works. So to hear that they support each other so much was cool.
Indeed. Great stuff. Gary should be proud, that's
Yes,
for sure.
very proud.
Lots of good stuff happening in the Scelzi family. Hey, let's step away. More MRN Winged Nation in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Kyle Larson. You're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Classic Ink USA Screen Printing and Embroidery is constantly testing the limits of custom racewear and specialized embroidery. Headquartered in Western Pennsylvania, Classic Ink holds the highest standard, maximizing your return as well as the ultimate customer satisfaction. From track swag, fanwear to quick crew wear, Classic Ink has you covered. Their dedicated staff and designers will keep your race team and fans looking sharp. Contact Classic Ink today and get your team ahead of the competition. www.classicinkusa.com. That's Classic Ink, at the track and on your back.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Welcome back. Erin Evernham, Steve Post here, having a great time. MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. So glad you joined us here on Motor Racing Network, on the app, on Facebook Live, wherever you join us. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, share it with a friend. Tell your friend that you catch all your sprint car stuff from all of us here at Winged Nation. Let's take a look at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame calendar. Birthdays Monday, Tim Schaefer, the late Kramer Williamson. Randy Hannigan's birthday was on Monday. Today birthday, Kenny Gritz and Lloyd Axel. Friday, Bobby Ward, Keith Hutton, Skip Jackson, Jerry Stone, birthdays on Saturday. But when we look at tomorrow, Johnny Anderson, the Midnight Cowboy. I don't know if you ever met the Midnight Cowboy?
Yeah, actually,
You have met him,
so.
okay? Well, here's the story. He was born in Florida. 2 years old, moved to Sacramento, ran quarter midgets, micro sprints into the early 60s, and then he went full-size car racing, and he won in about everything. Dirt or asphalt, in America, New Zealand, Australia, and he was just the man out there on the West Coast and really across the country. In 1980, he won a World of Outlaw Gold Cup at Chico, one other World of Outlaw races, and on November 3rd of 1980, at the Corona, California racetrack, a huge crash, and it was announced at the racetrack that Johnny had died.
Oh, my gosh.
The next morning in the San Francisco newspaper, it was announced that Johnny had died. There's a problem with the story. He had not died. Now, he was in a coma for 12 days and was 3 months in the hospital, but he recovered to race again, and to this day is one of the great ambassadors of the sport on the West Coast. So I would have been shocked if you hadn't met him out on the West Coast.
It took me a minute to
put it all together.
Yep.
Cowboy hat and everything like that, and he continues to be a great ambassador for sprint car racing. His story and so much more are on display. Turn number 3, Knoxville, for the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Erin, we don't have to wait long. Danny Lasoski's going. We're all twisted up about tonight. It is Route 66 Raceway, the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprints, the FVP Clay Classic. So great midweek racing. Great midweek racing. And then really we just kind of get crazy when we get into the weekend. I need to remind you or tell you that coming up on Thursday on our MRN Winged Nation Weekend podcast presented by Hefner Racing Products, Fred Raymer is in the house.
And we always know that'll be an interesting conversation.
Exactly. So we'll have to see what Fred said. And on Saturday on MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV, Greg Hodnett. Yes, Greg Hodnett. So a lot of Pennsylvania talk because batten down the hatches. Here we go. Pennsylvania Speed Week starts on Friday at Williams Grove. All of the Pennsylvania posse, plus during the midweek, Kyle Larson going to start at Path Valley, Rico Abreu, Casey Kane, Tyler Walker's going to be there all week long. Oh my gosh, it is going to be insane.
Yes.
Is what it's going to be. So we have the weeks when the World of Outlaws roll into Pennsylvania. We warn you for the faint of heart. Yeah. Don't be, well, the posse is stocking them up.
Yeah.
They're icing the coolers down right now, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
It is a great, great week. And they actually go the whole week. They don't even have a day off this year. Wow. No day off this year. So how tough. About that? Hey, thanks to Danny Lasoski and to Dominic Scelzi for joining us. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here today on Winged Nation.
You've been listening to Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength. You can also find Winged Nation on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and in the MRN.com Media Center. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.